everybody, this is Perch. Remember I made a joke in some videos a while back, although in theory I've got them all piled up, so this could be the video that happens right before this one. I don't know, whenever it came out. But anyway, I was talking about Texas radio, and there's this personality on the radio, Kelly Raspberry. And I was joking about how Kelly Raspberry will advertise anything. And it's comical to me. And I finally looked up Kelly Raspberry because I'm like, who is this person? I did not expect that. She does not look like I expected. I was expecting something vastly different that would be at home in a Twin Peaks or a Hooters, but that is not at all what Kelly Raspberry is. So my apologies to Kelly Raspberry for my headcanon about your appearance. I still have to laugh, though, because I turned on the radio earlier, and there were 5 straight ads with Kelly Raspberry promoting something. Hey, hello, this is Kelly Raspberry. Do you need a new car? Do you need a new house? Well, then you need a loan. If you need a loan, then you can go no farther than the place that Kelly Raspberry goes. It is the best place to get your house or car. Hey, this is Kelly Raspberry. Do you have trouble getting your dinkle up? Well, then all you need to do is take these pills. These are the pills endorsed by Kelly Raspberry. I'm amazed. Shameless. Anyway, we're rolling it in, I'm sure. I don't know why I'm fascinated by this. Who knows? All right, let's see what we got here. We've got a mail saying, settle the age-old question. All right, it's a very, very short mail, but let's see if I can settle it. I have a feeling I will not be settling it. Everybody will argue in the comments, but let's see what it has. It says, settle the age-old question. Mainstream versus CG. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That would be some comedy right there in the comments. No, let's get to the actual question. The actual question says, do comic covers that feature more breasts sell better than those dominated by butts? What is the right amount of sex appeal to sell a comic? That's it. That's the mail. All right, how are we going to make 8 minutes out of this one? Well, I think, okay, I'm going to throw this out there. I think if you're talking about comic sales, now keep in mind, this is the perspective of a retailer, somebody who has seen many a butt and or breast cover come across his counter. Here's what I think sells better. All right, now like all the Perch answers, there's a bunch of nuance to this. But hands down, if I had to pick one winner, it's butts. And the reason is, and I'm talking sale better. If you're talking Perch preference, probably breast. But if you're talking sell across the counter, it's butts. And here's why. Many comic cover, many of the when there's, when that was going on, when there was variant cover or the real cover, when the butt is on the cover and they're attempting to sexualize it, the butt is typically in a thong. So the butt is the cheeks are fully deployed. And given just the general size of the butt and how the butt is positioned on the page, it is more noticeable to the comic buyer that there is a butt here for you to buy. And people will go in on that. And they will go deep. No, I don't mean it that way. They will buy that cover. Breasts, on the other hand, have been so prevalent in comics that it really has lost its impact. The breasts on a comic cover are always appreciated. And, at the old Perch household, I absolutely, like a good set of breasts. But on comic covers, because so many of the characters are flying around breasts out, not out, but prominent, it's almost like it's become more normal. Whereas there are fewer butts. So when a butt is on a cover, people pay attention, they take notice. And they go, I want to pick up that butt and I want to do things to it. And then they buy that comic. That's typically, I would say, if I'm just thinking about sales across the counter, butts do very well. Now, if the butt is not, in a thong or displayed in a way that is really putting the butt out there, then it's a different story. But if you're just talking, scantily clad breasts to thong on butt, thong on butt's going to do better in sales. That's what I think. Yeah, I now I guess I open it up to you. What do you like as a comic customer? What are you going to buy? I think, by the way, in terms of artists, it's my general belief that, whether it's the Dodsons, whether it's J. Scott Campbell, whoever it might be, an artist that can draw a really good set of breasts on the cover can also draw a good butt. So, you really, it's pretty versatile with the people. The people who know really what to do They can get it done no matter which part of the body they're focusing on. Uh, I think during the early 2000s, there was this brief trend where both Marvel and DC did a lot of pictures of like close up on the face, and then the superhero was like sucking something, like they had like a lollipop, or they were sucking on like their finger or whatever. Remember, was it Greg Horn did the Emma Frost covers, which were the Emma Frost would be like trying to peel down her bra and like suck on her thumb at the same time, and it's you often wonder like what's so appealing about your hand that you want to eat it there. But those covers also did quite well. I think if you can kind of give somebody the impression of like, hey, this comic character here is sucking on their finger, and if you take this home, take it home, and you imagine hard enough, it could be your dick that she's thinking about. Certainly, that's a thing. But in terms of does sex appeal sell? I mean, that wasn't exactly your question, but I'll say, what is the right amount of appeal to sell a comic? Again, you know, uh, Captain Obvious here. It depends on your audience. Some audiences are going to be way more into that than others, obviously. I think that generally speaking, and people I'm sure hate this in comics, but it's true. And if you go into a comic shop and you talk to the retailer, you talk about the comics that are getting sold, and you can't get one that's like really hung up on, on Twitter or Instagram trying to prove their general, worth as a human being on platforms like that. What they will tell you is that covers that have a high amount of sex appeal equal easy money for the shop. And I mean, even like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago, there was a cover, and I forget the cover, but it had some character on the front, and I don't know if the company didn't quite realize, or maybe they did, or I don't know, but the character on the front is absolutely putting all of the sex appeal out front and center. And in the retailer forum, we're on this Facebook group, and the retailer's like, this is a money cover. This is a fly off the shelves cover. The comic itself was absolute garbage, but the cover it's like, this is going to sell. Why is it going to sell? Because it's going to go out and people are going to be like, well, I should buy that. It's some good TNA. I'm going to buy it. It sells. We can all pretend that stuff doesn't sell. We can all pretend we've moved on as a society and we don't think about those things. And, we think about all the different, male female dynamic and not in terms of sex. But the reality is sex appeal in a comic and a cover pulls in the big numbers every time. It absolutely does. If you are, let's say you're Sean Gordon Murphy and you're doing, issue 7 of Beyond the White Knight, and you're like, how do I boost the sales 10,000 copies of this comic? Do a cover where Harley is like falling out of her top and Bruce is trying to shove it back in. I don't know, whatever it happens to be. Amazingly, I know this is shocking to you, men are just going to buy that for no apparent reason other than the sex. So sex appeal absolutely has a huge impact. And, for what it's worth, of course it does. It has a huge impact in movies, in music, and everything else. And movies will every now and then, like, we don't, we're going to do this new Tomb Raider reboot, and we're not going to make the character into a, big sex appeal thing. They'll say things like that, but then they're like, well, yeah, but at some point she is going to be wearing like a white tank top that gets, semi-transparent when it gets wet, and we're going to throw her in her pool, and she's going to have to crawl out of it. We're going to slow motion up her, super tone legs onto her boobs that are bouncing around that shirt. But this is a movie for equality. We absolutely respect women. So I know what you think you're seeing there, but you're not seeing it because we don't believe in that kind of stuff at all. That's why in that last scene where Laura Croft and the villain, who's also a woman, but just dresses up in a bikini for no apparent reason, they have this giant fight in a big tube of Jello. That's relevant to the plot. Don't be gross. That's plot relevant. It's not. We're not trying to just appeal to sex. I mean, come on, people. Yeah, it absolutely sells, and everybody knows it sells. And the big game is like, how do we pretend? How do we say, yeah, we're not into that, but still do it and pretend we're not doing it? That is the That is the great Hollywood dilemma of 2022. Anyway, thank you very much for the question and the chance to be a little bit silly. How about you? Boobs or ass on a cover? What are you into? Let me know. Hey, if you were driving around with your kids while you're listening to this video, I definitely apologize. Thanks for listening.